there is a lot of that negative self-talk around. And it's important to understand for a start that that's normal, that everybody has that kind of thought, or like periods of time where they may have more of those types of thoughts. And it's quite hard when you're already in that negative spiral to really try to turn it around. I do want to get back to resilience in a while, because your podcast is called The Adversity Advantage. So we should also speak about what to do when, it feels like nothing's happening or things have gone wrong. But let's say, it's a regular day and sometimes it crosses your mind that that kind of, goal is not going to happen for you. It doesn't happen to people like me, or that's for kind of, other people. So when you have a recurring negative thought, there's usually a very firmly held belief underneath it that drives that thought. So, it could be to do with worthiness, deservingness. It's important for people to kind of dig underneath the recurring negative thought and ask themselves, what is it that I must believe about myself to keep having that thought? And often it's very non-conscious, because it may come from childhood and, that pathway's been there for so long that you're not even aware of it. If you can do the journaling or the therapy or the self-reflection to understand what the belief is that's driving your thought, then you can create a positive affirmation or a mantra that's the opposite statement to that belief. And you can repeat that every time you have the thought, so that you're basically trying to overwrite that pathway in your brain with this new, more positive thought. And in the brain, you can't undo what's already wired in there. You have to overwrite it or replace it with something that you'd prefer. And so that's the science. And then from Buddhism, there's a teaching that says replace every negative thought with a positive thought. And, that's been around for thousands of years, but it's now kind of backed up by the neuroscience. So it's nice to understand that that's kind of, a spiritual philosophy, and it's aligned with how things work in the brain.